Welcome to This Explainer. You know, when we look back at Indian history, it's just so incredibly easy to fixate on a few major, really celebrated names. But the true legacy behind Indian rulers? Well, it's actually this massive, interwoven tapestry of bravery, leadership, and vision that spans literally every corner of the subcontinent. Today, we're going to embark on a sweeping geographical journey to uncover this incredible, deeply rooted history of regional rulers from virtually every state. Let's dive in.
Here's our roadmap for today's journey. We'll start with a look at India's overarching royal legacy, move down to the legends of the South, sweep across the central and western icons, head up to the northern rulers, travel over to the eastern and northeastern kings, and then finally wrap up with a critical question for you.
So, starting off with Section 1, India's royal legacy, covering both the famous figures and the hidden gems. Now, while we all deeply respect and instantly recognize absolute legends like Maharashtra's Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj or Rajasthan's Maharana Pratap, it's super important to step back and look at the bigger picture. Why do some names echo through time while others kind of fade away? The history books tend to highlight the centralized powers, but the reality is that the legacy behind Indian rulers actually involves hundreds of hidden gems. We're talking about leaders whose unique strategies literally shaped the ground millions walk on today. We're going beyond the widely celebrated icons to uncover the regional architects of the nation.
Moving right along to Section 2, Legends of the South, featuring great empires and modern pop culture heroes.
We've got to begin with the sheer, unprecedented scale of Southern power. Take Raja Krishnadevaraya of Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka, for instance. Under his rule, the great Vijayanagara Empire didn't just win battles. It became this global epicenter for literature, architecture, and art. It was a real golden age. Then, moving over to Tamil Nadu, we encounter Raja Chola I. He took the legendary Chola Empire to its absolute peak, establishing an astonishing level of naval dominance that expanded his influence all the way across Southeast Asia. And further down in Kerala, Marthandavarma brilliantly founded the Travancore dynasty. He's famous for modernizing his army to decisively defeat European colonial powers. I mean, these leaders were massive global players.
And bridging this deep history with modern pop culture, we absolutely have to talk about Telangana's Komaram Bhim. You probably recognize him as the fiercely brave protagonist from that massive global blockbuster movie RRR. But honestly, the real history is even more compelling than the cinema. He was a powerful revolutionary who led a fierce, grassroots rebellion against the feudal nizams, fighting for the basic rights and liberation of Adivasi tribes. His real-life battle cry for indigenous rights continues to inspire us today.
Next up, Section 3, Central and Western Icons, highlighting fierce leadership in the heartland. It is absolutely fascinating to uncover the powerful legacy of female leadership dominating the heartland of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. First off, there's the extraordinarily brave Rani Durgavati. Rather than surrender to the mighty, expanding Mughal Empire, she personally led her army into a fierce military stand, choosing to fight to the very end to protect her kingdom's sovereignty. That is true courage. Then we have the visionary Ahilyabai Holkar. Her genius wasn't just in defense, it was in her incredible administrative skill. She uniquely dedicated her rule to rebuilding destroyed temples and establishing vital trade routes across the entire Indian subcontinent, essentially knitting the culture back together. Alongside them over in Gujarat, the celebrated ruler Kumarapala is remembered for his vast, prosperous reign and his deep patronage of Jainism.
Let's head north for Section 4, the Northern Rulers, the Defenders of the Frontiers.
Up in the north, governance required some seriously formidable defense against relentless invasions. The legendary Maharaja Ranjit Singh in Punjab didn't just build a remarkably powerful kingdom, he completely modernized the Sikh Khalsa army. He actually brought in European tactical experts to create a world-class, basically unbeatable military force. It was a real game-changer. Up in Kashmir, we have the great Lalitadya Muktapida. His vast empire stretched way beyond the subcontinent, reaching deep into Central Asia. And we can't forget the Gardwal kings, who expertly navigated and defended the incredibly challenging mountainous terrains of Himachal and Uttarakhand. Their collective legacy? Absolute, unyielding resilience.
Of course, no conversation about frontier defense and fierce resistance is complete with Uttar Pradesh's most unforgettable figure, the Queen of Jhansi, Rani Laxmibai. When we talk about a legacy of absolute courage, her name immediately commands the room. During the 1857 rebellion, she didn't just lead troops from a safe distance. No way. She famously rode into active battle with her infant son tied securely to her back, wielding 2 swords. I mean, she truly represents the ultimate, unbreakable spirit of resistance in Indian history. That brings us to Section 5, Eastern and Northeastern Kings, exploring the dawn of empires and resistance.
Following the geographical flow reveals an epic 2,000-year narrative of power. We start in Bihar, the literal cradle of the mighty Maurya dynasty, which was one of the earliest and largest foundational empires of India. The journey then moves over to Odisha, where the great, fiercely independent Kalinga kingdom thrived. Next, the highly influential ruler Raja Shashanka left his undeniable unifying mark on Bengal. But the story really peaks in Assam in the northeast with the Ahom king Lachit Borphukan. Facing a massive, invading Mughal force, he utilized brilliant tactical warfare. Knowing he was totally outnumbered on land, he cleverly used the terrain and masterful naval tactics on the Brahmaputra River during the Battle of Saragat to secure what seemed like an impossible victory.
Finally, Section 6, your favorite ruler? A look at our collective Indian legacy. We've covered immense ground today, tracing a rich, undeniable tapestry of leadership from the deep south up through the heartland and across the northern and eastern frontiers. The core takeaway here is that the legacy behind Indian rulers is not just the story of a few centralized victors. It's a massive, interconnected puzzle of regional strength. And you know, if history is so often written by the victors or the loudest centralized powers, just think about how much of this incredible legacy we've barely scratched the surface of. So, which of these marginalized or hidden historical titans do you think deserves to have their full story told next? Who is your absolute favorite ruler from Indian history? Drop their name in the comments below, and let's keep this fascinating conversation going. Until next time, keep exploring and keep learning.